What is the best kind of account for you to put your money in depending on the time period and the plans you have for it? Are you saving up for a new house? Are you buying a TV? Are you going to buy a car? Are you going to college? Are you investing for retirement? Where do you put this money? This video will go over all of that from a timeline as short as this week, all the way up to where you can stash money for retirement that's best for your kids to use after you die in a tax-efficient way. This is all the timelines. Way back in the day, people had a lot of cash savings. After the Great Depression and even in the decades following, people just had a lot of cash on hand. I mean, physical cash. Like, they didn't have it a lot in banks. They didn't have it a lot invested. It was just kind of an uncommon thing to do that. And so they really did have cash, like buried in the backyard in the coffee can, or stuffed under the mattress, or hidden in the walls. Hey, Billy, it's time to grab the shovels in the coffee can. I just got a bonus at work. Let's make a backyard deposit. And still today, you'll find people that feel kind of similarly. The problem with this mentality nowadays is that you're missing out on a bunch of free money. So you can make interest on your money depending on where you put it and how you want to use it that'll either keep up with or beat inflation on some cases, which means that your money isn't shrinking over time. If you just keep the money in cash, the value of it is actually going down over time because the price of everything else in life is going up. For example, I'm recording this video in my wife's car because I'm traveling for work today. I just looked up the average price of a new car in 2021, $41,000. If you'd been saving up money because a new car cost $25,000 and now all of a sudden they're 41, you're out of luck. So we've got to be a little bit more efficient with our money. Let's get into these timelines. The first timeline is the shortest one. This is where you put your absolute most short-term cash that you're going to spend soon, like this week, this month, really, really soon. Despite the lack of good interest rates right now, I would still say keeping that in the bank in a traditional like savings account or checking account is the best way. This is the money that you can set up for like auto bill pay or other kind of utilities or whatever else that you have that's coming in and out all the time really frequently. A bank savings account is going to be kind of the worst way to earn interest on your money, but we need this money to be really available. We need it to be ready to move quickly. If your time period is a little bit longer, like 2 to 6 months, then I recommend a whole different kind of savings account. I've talked about them before on my channel. You can find the other videos on them if you'd like, but they are these two new kinds of savings accounts called prize-linked savings accounts. The big players in America are Yada Savings and Prize Pool. And what these accounts do is they set your money up in a traditional savings account that pays you a base interest rate. This is already a good start. On top of that, you get entered into a sweepstakes where you can win even more money. And this isn't going to be a crazy amount of money like in the stock market or somewhere else, but it's a heck of a lot better than your money just sitting there doing nothing. So I would expect somewhere between 0.5 and 3% as of right now. But hey, that's not bad. The next timeline is sort of from 6 months to around 4 years. I would say that this is money that you're saving up for a big purchase. So some people use a term called a sinking fund for this, and it's kind of an odd name. I don't know why it would be sinking. If anything, it's growing, and then all of a sudden it sinks whenever you spend the money, but that's the typical name for this. And it could be like a new computer. Maybe you need a new computer for school or for work. Maybe you're saving up for a big down payment on a car or a house or something else big like that, and you don't want to put this kind of stuff on a credit card or get in debt for it, so you end up saving up a lot of cash over time. I would say for these things, the best account still is Yada Savings and Prize Pool. What we want for these kinds of accounts are zero risk, so there's no reason for you to really put this money out there and potentially lose it just because you want to earn a little bit more interest. Let's have zero risk here, maximize our interest as much as possible, and let the money grow. This next time frame is where I'm going to diverge from some other people's opinions here, including some really popular voices on the internet, so hang on to your boots. Are you wearing boots? Who wears boots? Anyway, I would say if you're planning on saving up for something for a really long time, like you're determined to pay cash for a new house, or you're determined to save up money for a decade so that you can buy your dream car in cash because a Corvette Z06 is a lot of money, it's going to take you a lot of time to save up for it. Whatever that looks like, you're saving up money to spend it for a really long time, like more than 4 years. I would diverge from the common wisdom at this point and say use a taxable brokerage account. And what that means is you open up an investing account and you invest in something like index funds over the course of 5 or 10 or more years, so you're getting a shot at decent interest rates. At this point, there would be nothing wrong with continuing to use something like Yada Savings or Prize Pool, but at the same time, if you want to get decent interest rates over the course of 5 or 10 years, the stock market is really the only place to go. Notice I said that this is a longer time horizon, but you're still planning to spend the money soon. This is a different discussion if we get into something like retirement savings. So let's talk about that now. If you are saving for retirement, but you also want to have the potential to access some of the money, a Roth IRA is an excellent choice. Now, a Roth IRA is just a specific kind of individual retirement account. This is set up for you to put the money in there and then leave it there for like decades because it's set for retirement. But the beautiful thing about a Roth is that you can actually access the money that you contributed earlier than when you retire. The money that you put into a Roth account is called contributions. And the rule is that you can take out the contributions but not the gains from your Roth IRA account. This is kind of a magic hack that not a lot of people talk about, but if you want that kind of extra assurance of, well, what if I want to put a down payment on a house, but I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon because housing prices are just crazy, but I want to keep my options open, and in the meantime, I may as well save for retirement. Roth IRA is literally perfect for this. It is incredible. And it's a great vehicle for saving for retirement in general. Like, I don't think that this is only for that person. I think if you're just saving for retirement too, a Roth IRA is a great option. To clarify the timeline here, what we're talking about when we're saying saving for retirement is putting money away now at however old you are and letting it sit there typically until your early 60s. The government kind of sets up these retirement age thresholds for us to be able to access this money. So right now, those ages typically range from between like 59 and a half years old to about 65 years old. And so that's really where this money is intended to go. If you want to save for retirement and have that ultra long window of kind of projected future use, and you want a tax break now, a traditional IRA or a traditional 401k are your best options. A 401k has to be started by your employer. If you're not working, you can't have a 401k, or if your employer doesn't offer it, you can't just go open one. Like, I can't call up M1 Finance and go, hey, give me a 401k tomorrow. It's just not a thing. They can't do that because it has to go through your employer. But you can do that with a traditional IRA. Both of these kinds of accounts reduce your taxable income for the year that you actually send money in. So the government goes, hey, you didn't keep that money. You invested it. We're not going to tax you on it. Then whenever you're 59 and a half or 65 or however old, because you've decided to stop working, at that point you will get taxed. The difference here versus the Roth IRA is with a Roth, you're taxed now. That's the beauty of the long time horizon, is that the money grows tax-free within the Roth. This is especially important if you are young, if you are not making a ton of money and you're in a low tax bracket. If all those things line up for you, which is a lot of people, honestly, that's millions of people, a Roth IRA is incredible. You really can't go wrong with either one, because to know exactly how to optimize this, we would have to be able to predict the future. You'd have to know what tax bracket you'll be in whenever you're 60. You'll have to know what the federal government's rules are and what's changed between now and then as far as how taxes work. No one can know that. So we're all just kind of taking a shot in the dark, but don't let that decision paralyze you. No matter what, if you're using these retirement accounts, you're benefiting. You're getting a tax break. You're setting yourself up for the future. It's a good choice. Now, if you want to take advantage of these awesome retirement accounts and have the best potential to pass money on to your kids without having to worry about any kind of taxes, a Roth IRA is again an excellent option. And here's why. For one thing, a Roth IRA doesn't have what's called a required minimum distribution. And I made a whole video about that in my Terminology Tuesdays series. So if you want to dig deeper, you can. But what that means is other accounts actually require you to start taking money out at certain ages. For example, a traditional IRA, a traditional 401k, they make you take money out because you haven't been taxed on it. The government wants their tax money. They're going to find a way to get this money out, even if that means forcing you to take income whether you want it or not. Not so with the Roth IRA. So that means if you wanted to, you could contribute to the Roth IRA. It grows over years and years and years. Then let's say you live to the ripe old age of 101 and you pass away. Then it gets passed on to your heirs and your family. And typically the rule of right now anyway is that kids have about 10 years to take that money out. And 10 years is a long time. Like if you're 101, your kids are probably in their, 70s. And so it gives them plenty of time to figure out what they want to do with that money, where they want to travel in Italy and Russia and Mars or wherever else people are traveling by then. And it's just a really great option. That got a little more into the weeds of estate planning than I planned, but now you know. But by and large, I think you got the kind of format here. The shorter the time window is with your money, the less risk we want and the more available we want the money to be. We want to be able to be withdrawn really quick. The longer your time horizon is, the less likely you are to spend it quickly. The more we can risk, the more we can invest the money. We can let it sit and ride the ups and downs. Right now at time of filming, it's a lot of downs. Our accounts are not happy with us. But that's just the way it goes with investing. If this was money you were saving up in cash to do something with, it'd be a bummer because maybe you can't buy the house now, or maybe you can't buy the car now. So that's why I recommend those other accounts. But for a long term, ride me on the roller coaster, baby. Let's go. It's my best attempt at a roller coaster impersonation inside a car. Hey, if you made it this far, thank you for watching and making it through this impromptu car video. I don't typically like to do this, but since I'm traveling, I just wanted to make it work and get this video out to you guys. If you're curious about the accounts that I mentioned, there's details in the description, including signups for investing accounts that I really enjoy. Lately, it's been M1 Finance that I'm using the most. There's the most flexibility there to use any kind of accounts you want, invest in whatever you want, and it's free. Plus, if you sign up with my link, you get $30. So why not get 30 bucks? And if you've made it all the way to the end and you're looking for the secret comment, let's talk about anything Halloween related in the comments, because why not? It's hilarious. You made it to the end. You know what I'm talking about. No one else who made it to the end knows. They're clueless. Why would you be putting like a jack-o'-lantern emoji in the comments? They have no idea what's going on, but you and I do. That's why it's a secret comment. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye.